My name's Kim Steven. On my tagline in LinkedIn is Cyber Recruiter before it was cool. I'm based in Dallas. I've been recruiting for almost 20 years now. And I've been in the cyber community recruiting in that space for about almost 10 years. I cut my teeth working at McAfee. Then I got the privilege to help build the advisory practice at PwC for about 5 years in all of their different verticals, and then got to work over at Korn Ferry and Deloitte and at FTI Consulting. So I've done a little bit of everything on the security side. Love the community. It's a very, very helpful place to be. And again, I work with a lot of really fantastic folks. So I'm so excited to be here, and hopefully we can, you know, help you at least, you know, rest at ease, or at least give you some really great guidance on how to get into the space.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Marissa, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure.
I saw that you were in talent acquisitions, and I just sort of joined that field, so I'm really excited to hear your background too.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And thank you, Kim, and everyone for inviting me. So I've been recruiting in security as well as IT for 11 years now. I'm based in LA, but I actually got my start in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area recruiting for a government contractor. So everything from like entry level like help desk roles all the way up to like senior SME cyber analyst roles. And from there, when I moved back to LA, I started working for security consulting firms. So everything from healthcare specific, a company called Synergistic, to NCC Group, which is the largest purely security consulting firm in the world. And now I'm a recruiter for Itanium. So I recruit for our enterprise services team, and you know, I've done everything from individual recruiting all the way up to managing recruiting teams for those security firms and building an entire department from the ground up.
Thank you. And last but not least, we have TJ. I saw that your background was in recruiting, but also business development. So I know, you know, a little bit about not only just recruiting, but what different business opportunities are out there and what the teams are looking for. So let us know a little bit more about that.
Sure, absolutely. My name is Terrell Jackson. I go by TJ, just kind of easier to remember, right? So, you know, I've been recruiting for, I'd say, close to 13 years, 14 years. And I've been, I guess, blessed in a way to be at a full capacity. I'm sure like many other recruiters, you know, when you come into, you know, a number of quality people and you network very well, you kind of stay in contact to see that progression come up, right? So it's one of those things where, you know, just the recruiting efforts kind of come back to you in two folds, you know. So, you know, in one capacity, they may be looking to jump or make a move, or another capacity, they might be wanting to utilize me as a recruiting tool to, you know, add to additional resources. So, you know, I've been recruiting in IT for over a decade. I currently now work for a cybersecurity solutions company here in Dallas. So I'm located where Kim is. I think the biggest thing for me is that, you know, I'm very passionate about people and, you know, their progression in their career field. So, you know, I'm happy to be a part of this.
Thank you for being a part of this. And I'm just equally passionate about just helping people get to the right resources and networks so that they can continue to pursue their passions as well. This in general, like this conference, the vibes, the people who are here, you participating and volunteering your time on a Saturday, that's what I'm super passionate about. So again, thank you. And we'll kick off some of the questions. So a lot of the questions that we received earlier during the earlier panels, I saw in some of the chats throughout the sessions today, is there was a lot of students who were wondering, how do they make their resume super transparent and show cyber related skills if they're in a field that's non-cyber related? Like, how do they transition their resume to a cyber related field, and how does it appeal to cyber recruiters? Like, what are the key words? What are the key things? What are the projects that make it really interesting and appealing for a cyber recruiter?
Well,
Not all speak at once.
I'll speak. I think from a campus level perspective, I think it's really important that you show off your GPA. You also show any type of leadership roles that you held while you were at university. Put in not only just an education and certification section on your resume, but also a personal development to kind of highlight stuff that you're involved in. Like if you go to conferences, put that down. If you are involved in the community that's security or IT related, put that down that you're a member, even if you went once. No one is going to verify it. And I'm not saying lie, but put it down to show any prospective hiring manager that you're in the community and you're getting involved. Some other pieces is anything that you're doing on the weekend. If you're doing a CTF, if you're doing any type of online learning, if you're working or thinking about or preparing for a certification, put that stuff down on your resume. It is okay to be a campus level student and have a resume that's 2 pages long. It's not ideal, but it's really hard to cram all of that stuff on 1 page. Also, if you've ever been in the service industry, don't be afraid to put that stuff down. That shows a wonderful level of resilience of being able to talk and engage with people. So just put all of those pieces down. Put also that you're willing to relocate on your resume. You don't have to put your address, but also indicate on there if you happen to have an H-1B visa or if you're on an OPT. Put that down on your resume too. That's going to be really helpful for all of the HR people that are looking at resumes. So you've got to think outside the box. How am I going to differentiate my resume from everyone else? Because there's probably hundreds of people vying for that job. Also look at these companies that may attend certain campuses as well. If you hear of any prospective employer going to a campus for a hiring event, get your hiney over there and participate in that. And don't wear your pajamas either. I have worked at a campus event and they came with a paper resume that was never updated in their pajamas. So please prepare and showcase yourself, show your best side, but come prepared and have questions to ask and look up on LinkedIn. Don't be afraid to connect with people on LinkedIn. I know that young people don't want to connect with people they don't know, but in order to find a job, you got to connect with everybody. So hope that helps.
You know, I've heard a lot of people say that they weren't comfortable connecting or networking. And I think right now is the perfect time because even if you're introverted, you're just sending a message, tailor the message, look at their LinkedIn and see what you're posting, see what Kim's posting. That'll tell you what she's interested in, what she likes. And tailor the message. I think this is the perfect time to network. But I hear so many people say it's really hard to network or it's really hard to connect with people on LinkedIn. So thank you for adding that. And Marissa, I know you've been in this space as well. Did you have any additional feedback or comments, suggestions?
Yeah, I think it's important to highlight what Kim mentioned about going to events and adding things on your resume that aren't necessarily work related. So if you are participating in, let's say, a CTF and you placed, if you are participating in a Boss of the SOC competition and you placed, those are things that are important to mention, but also try and create some sort of thought leadership around yourself. So if you want to, or if you know enough about what you want to do within security, because it's such a broad space, right? There's so many different things that you can do. Do some research, let it be independent, create a lab for yourself, do some research, publish it, post it on LinkedIn, Twitter. If you're doing a tutorial, put it on Twitch or YouTube, write something where we can see you and you make yourself a specialist, and then we come to you. Because as recruiters, we're always looking. I actually just ran a report yesterday, and I think like 75% of our hires are actually people that we're going out in social media and looking for. So if we see that you're doing those things, not only are you taking the initiative, to create an opportunity that is specifically tailored to what you're looking for, but you're giving yourself a leg up in the process because you've now set yourself apart. Other things like open source, like OWASP has a lot of open source projects, GitHub, right? They've got a lot of projects, things that we can go and see your work and we can say to a hiring manager, look, this is a great person. I've spoken to them over the phone. Here's a sample of what they're doing publicly online. So even though they might have had a service background, maybe they do have just a college education, but look at all of their work product that demonstrates that they could be a high performer on this team. Those are all things that help build the business case on our end to make sure that we can get you in front of the right hiring team.
When you say get in front of the right hiring team, are you basically building your business case to sell this person to the hiring manager versus the hiring manager just saying, oh, this looks like a good resume? Do you have to sell the hiring manager on why they should interview this person?
Was as a partner, right? A talent acquisition partner, that's exactly what we do. So we typically don't have just one person in mind. There are usually several candidates going through the process. So what you want to do is do things that set yourself apart. And as this partner to my hiring managers, I'm going to say, well, this is what this person is doing. And I understand that this is a decision, but let's take a look at this person. Let's make sure that we're taking everything into account. You know, we're going forward with as much data as we can and eliminating as much, you know, bias, conscious or unconscious. Because when there's enough data to show that this person is the one putting the most effort, and we can see that they've got some verifiable work product that we know is going to work for the role, then that's really helpful.
Thank you. TJ, I know that you have worked on, from what I read about your background, I know you've worked on the business side as well as the talent acquisition and recruiting side. So what does that look like when you're going out for business or when you're helping or partnering with individuals from your company to get roles or get opportunities, and they say, well, we need X amount of FTEs for this role? How stringent are they usually on, well, we need X amount of FTEs with 15 years of experience? Have you known that, are those experience requirements really rigid and stringent, or are they more so, well, we can get someone with 12 who has a master's and maybe some certs? What are your thoughts on that?
So I think it's all kind of in a matter of perspective. You know, if they're looking for a number of FTEs, right, you might find one person might be a bit more stronger in one aspect than another. So I think it kind of comes to just kind of piecing the puzzle together, right, and making it a rigorous team. You know, one thing that I always, you know, really focus on is just not only the technical attributes of the role, but just the cultural perspective of the company as well, right? I think that matters most because, you know, if, let's just say I come to work and I sit with Kim every day and she's a delight to be around, obviously, right? Then it's gonna be enjoyable. It's gonna be collaborative. You know, a lot of things always kind of come into place with that, and you know, just dealing with different companies while they may want, you know, a team full of cybersecurity professionals. I think it's key just to understand how they plan on piecing that together. And I think Kim and Marissa had some great points in regards to somebody just kind of putting their foot in the door and you know, making a statement. Marissa made a good point in doing some research and, you know, really focusing on things that you want to be a part of, so you can be seen. I personally always look for entry-level people. I always look for those that want to get their foot in the door. But understanding their passion behind it means everything. So, you know, I've worked with a number of different companies, and I'll tell you that the underlying question that a lot of hiring managers ask, particularly at an entry level position, is, you know, what do you like to do in your pastime? You know, if you're doing that research to, you know, understand which, you know, vulnerability tools work the most efficient you know, a particular company, you know, having that research and doing those things means a lot, you know. They may not have the whole, you know, technical stack of what may be needed. You might not always have it, right? Because there's 101 technologies and there's always a new tool being developed, right? But doing your research, being exposed to it, and even being a part of it to show that you have the acumen to pick things up is key. So hopefully I answer your question in whole.